Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe, narrated by Disney or Lucasfilm, whichever way you slice it, Legends. Today, I only have two things for you. I'm finishing off the Brian Dailey's Han Solo trilogy, and I have one comic for you. I originally thought it was going to be two, but it's only one. And even that's a bit with the timeline placement, but I bore it because the vast majority of it is before episode 4. So let me just get that out of the way before I get into the Brian Dailey book, which I've already read, so I'm just going to kind of give my overall thoughts on that. But Star Wars Empire, which is another comic book series that went on, not nearly as long as the Republic series did, which focused mostly on the Clone Wars, and a little bit, during, in between episode 2 and stuff. But Star Wars Empire, you would think mostly focuses on the Empire, but from what I hear, it focuses sometimes the Empire, sometimes the Rebellion, just kind of everything, just during the OT era. But with Star Wars Empire issue 8, we get a focus on Gavin Darklighter. Or Biggs Darklighter. I said Gavin? Gavin's somebody else. I'm sorry. Biggs Darklighter. Yeah, I'm getting all the Darklighters mixed up. There is a Gavin, though. He's just somewhere else. Biggs Darklighter. Luke Skywalker's best friend. He goes off to the Imperial Academy to go join the Empire. So we get to see him on Tatooine with Luke and stuff. We get to establish his friendship because we only really see Biggs. I mean, there's a deleted scene with Biggs that wasn't shown in the movie, is actually shown in this comic. So I guess technically the deleted scene's canon now. But we see him with Luke. We see him with Fixer and all of Luke's friends. We see him go off to the academy. While we see him training to become an Imperial, we see Luke doing stuff on Tatooine, flying the ship around and killing Womp Rats and stuff like that, paralleling one another. And Tarkin has this whole speech in the story talking about, there are big plans coming up within this next year. We have something that's almost fully operational, and when it is, all those rebels shall stop being a problem for us. Obviously the Death Star, because episode 4's just around the corner. We're in the last year. We're maybe 10 months before it happens. We're a year before episode 4, basically. Except for the end of this comic, which takes place during episode 4. But that's the thing. I didn't want to just, stop midway through a comic. That felt weird. So I finished it. But the vast majority of the story is just showing Biggs in the Empire. And, it's a good job. It pays well. But you clearly see that he has issues with a lot of things going on. But it isn't until the end of the comic where he decides, I'm going to go join the Rebel Alliance. But yeah, it's nice. It's not much. I mean, it's a 24-page comic. But it's nice to get more with Biggs because we know that he does not make it past episode 4. But his family's legacy lives on in the Rogue Squadron books. And we will see, I made an oopsie. We will see a Darklighter in the future, but it will not be Biggs. So it's nice that we get a little bit with Biggs, considering that before Han and Leia and all those people, Biggs was Luke's the friend, the best friend. So, and there's another comic that I have to read that's actually during episode 4 that will see more Biggs. So it's nice that we're going to get a little bit more with Biggs before he's gone. And maybe you'll actually feel something realizing that he goes away during episode 4. And I think that's one of the wonderful things about the expanding universe, making a character that didn't have much of a character and giving him something. Because the most we have is him seeming so genuinely happy to see Luke again in the hangar bay on Yavin. That's the only time we see Biggs. So it's nice that we get a bit more with him here. Moving on to Brian Dailey's final book in the Han Solo trilogy is The Lost Legacy. So again, we follow a similar sort of beat as the other two books. Han and Chewie down on the luck. They use their money to repair the Falcon. Now they're broke again. What do they do but go on another adventure when they meet another old person that helped shape them, or helped shape Han growing up, and help him go on this Indiana Jones-like adventure to discover this lost treasure, or the Goonies, or whatever, of Zim the Despot, which is another fascinating thing. Rereading through it, Zim the Despot, that whole era, because I believe that would have been before the Dawn of the Jedi books, because this is before, it's a time before the Jedi. Or the Jedi, as it is in Dawn of the Jedi. So, all that stuff. We have the Abenor, we have the Silentium, with the Vong. We have this. We have Dawn of the Jedi itself, which has barely been fleshed out. The era in between Crucible, which is the final novel chronologically in the Star Wars timeline, and then the Legacy comics. We have this huge gap in time. Like, so many interesting things that the Star Wars expanded universe could still do. Even just a novel about Zim the Despot, this gangster who had this, or I don't know, gangster, mob boss, whatever. He had this army of robots and just took over a large portion of the world because, for this book, Han and friends are in the Tion Homogeny, or however the fudge you say it, which is kind of a backwater part of the galaxy now. Because now the center's, the core worlds. But it used to be. The center of all that. It used to be the center of power, but now it's not. So there's just so many fascinating things you could do with that. Like in a novel or a comic or something. Like all these possibilities that we just will never get. But overall, again, it's a ton of fun. There's some poignant things, or there's one specific conversation with this girl, Hasty, I don't know, fudge say her name. There's a good conversation that she has, or like monologue, I guess she has, because they start making out or whatever, Han and her, because Han's got that charm, but she stops herself. She's like, no, you act like you don't care about anybody. You treat people like crap. But at the end of the day, you're alone. He's like, what do you mean? I got Chewie. It's like, he's your friend, but you don't have people. You're a loner. And, it just kind of hits hard for him because literally in a year from now, he's going to find that family. He's going to find his people with Luke and friends. So I just thought that was very poignant. But I also, of course, Galandro was introduced in the last book, but Galandro, the gunslinger, is a lot of fun. I love his whole, his long mustache look. It's quick of the draw, like it's a Western or something. I think Galandro's a really cool villain. I'm sad that we only have these 2 books with him, but at the same time, hard to ruin a character when you only have 2 books with him. Same thing with Thrawn with his trilogy. So I think, I guess there's Outbound Flight and short stories, but yeah. It was overall just a really fantastic, fun time. I had fun with the entire Brian Dailey trilogy. Brian Dailey's trilogy is still so good. And Bollix and Blue Max, heart and soul, they're such good droid companions. I love them. Going through them all again, I do think I still like A.C. Crispin's trilogy more. But Brian Dailey's are a whole hell of a lot of fun. And I do highly, highly, highly recommend the entirety of Brian Dailey's Han Solo trilogy. Until next time, guys, may the Force be with you.